Hello, Professor. My name is Yasmin. Uh, our project is regarding creating a web-based automated teller machine, which is nothing but ATM application. So, my teammates are Mauli, Meghna, Shiva, and myself, Yasmin. So, let's start with the introduction. So, introduction. The objective of this project is to create an automated teller machine simulation as a desktop application using Python's Tinkler library for the graphical user interface. So, the technologies we have used here are Python programming language, standard libraries such as Tinkler for GUI, file IO operations for data storage and retrieval. So, let's see the user stories for customers. So we have user stories for customers and for administrator. So let's see the user stories for customers. So creating a user account as a new client, I want to be able to open a new bank account so that I may begin using the ATM services. The first thing we need to do is user login. So I wish to access my bank account as a registered user by logging in with my card, with my card number using a PIN. So money withdrawal as a user, I need the ability to take money out of my account via an ATM. Next comes to check balance. I want to check the balance of my account to see how much money I have as a user. And the money deposit, I want to be able to use the ATM to make the deposits into my account as a user. And we have like money transfer. As a user, I wish to move money from one account to another, and also I wish to view the transaction history. As a user, I want to be able to view the history of my most recent transactions so that I can maintain the tabs on my spending. And error handling, as a user, I want to see clear error messages if I submit inaccurate information or if there are some problems with my transactions. Now comes to security, which is main important. As a user, I want to feel confident that my account information and transactions are safe and secure. And the final one is logout. In order to avoid illegal access, I wish to log out of my account after using the ATM with the security and privacy. Now let's see the user stories for administrator. Management of user accounts. As an administrator, I need the flexibility to create, edit, or deactivate user accounts as needed. Now comes to transaction monitoring. As an administrator, I want to keep a track on user transactions for irregularities or suspect behavior. Error resolution. As an administrator, I need to be able to swiftly address the problems with unsuccessful transactions, account inconsistencies, or technological failures. Security management. As a systems administrator, I want to make sure that the ATM system is secure by routinely upgrading security measures such as PIN requirements and encryption. System maintenance. To keep the ATM system operating efficiently, as the administrator, I wish to carry out normal maintenance procedures on it, such as software upgrades and hardware inspections. And reporting and analytics. In my capacity as an administrator, I want to produce reports and examine ATM usage statistics to gain knowledge of user behavior and system performance. Emergency response. As a system administrator, yes, I want to have policies in place for handling crises like system failures or security breaches, data backup and recovery. So I want to periodically back up the user accounts and transaction data to make sure it can be restored in the event of data loss. Compliance and standards. So as an administrator, I want to make sure that the ATM system conforms with all pertinent banking rules and standards. System auditing. In my capacity, I wish to periodically examine the ATM system for vulnerabilities or compliance problems and fix them. So the next slides will be over to Meghna.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you, Asmin. And now I'm continuing with the use case diagram. The use case diagram that we are using over here depicts the actors. that customers, these are the actors, the customers and the ATM technician are this type of actors, and the bank is another actor. And here are the functionalities that the ATM, the web application of our ATM we provide. Like it uses to check the balance of how much the account how much balance we are having in our account. And also we can deposit the funds and withdraw and transfer the funds using the payment gateway that connects to the bank automatically. And these are the functions that are carried out by customer. And the ATM technician would take the functionalities like maintenance. He would maintenance if any of the system is repaired, and repair he will also take through with the connection with the bank. And this is the use case diagram. And coming to the sequence diagram, we have here a customer, a teller, and a bank connected with. And here the sequence of steps what we will carry are depicted in these diagrams. So here first we will insert the card, and the card number will go to from ATM to the database connected with the bank. And if the card is okay, the bank will tell that the card is okay, and then the ATM will ask for pin request to the customer. So if the customer enters the pin, that pin will be checked by the ATM from the database connected to the bank, and the bank will tell that the pin is okay. Now we can be able to withdraw the cash or whatever functionalities we need to carry out with that ATM. So here is the option framework that we have used here. So if the customer wants to take the amount, debit the amount from that, he can just take the debit, and he can enter the amount that he want to debit from his account. So now the option is debit from the ATM to the database connected to bank. And now the bank will debit the amount from the account that has the customer has mentioned, and that amount will get debited, and then the ATM will dispense the cash to the customer. This is the sequence, one of the sequence diagram that has used option framework. And now coming to this diagram, this is also having a user, ATM, and a bank. And this we are using a loop and an alternative framework. Here the same, if we verify the card and if the card is valid, it will ask for the pin, request for the pin, and the pin entered. If the pin is correct, that is, it will verify the pin status whether it is correct or not. The ATM will verify with the bank. If the pin is invalid, so it will tell that the display invalid pin. So the ATM will display the invalid pin to the customer, and then it will ask to try again. And if the customer enter the pin again, so again it will verify that whether the pin is correct or not. So it will verify, and if not, if the customer enters the invalid pin again, it will just tell the eject the card, and we cannot process the transaction further. So it is the loop till the customer enters the correct pin. And this is the alternative framework that we have used. So here in the sequence diagram, we have used both the all option, alternative, and the loop frameworks in the sequence diagram. And now coming to the functionalities that we have used in the web application are the login. So the customer can log in into this is the UML case diagram that we have used. So this is the login web page, so that the customer can log in through username and enter pin. So this pin will come when he sign up the account creation. This is the page when he gets to sign up. So he can sign up with the first name, last name, and the username and the email ID which he wants to connect with his account. And he can enter the pin which he wants to do, and enter pin, and he needs to confirm the pin, and then he can register now with this one. So he can log in and he can sign up. And also after signing up successfully, he has to go to main menu, that is user home. So after successful login, users are presented with main menu. So the main menu has different options, like they can choose the transaction history, for which they can see what transactions they have been performed. And also they can check the balance, how much balance is left in their account. And also they can perform the transaction operations. And if not, they can quit from this app. So what are the transaction operations that they are going to do? So they can do withdraw, and they can either withdraw from their account, they can deposit into their account, or they can transfer from one account to the other account. These are the transaction operations that they can do. And also our app also contains the data management. So they has the information about the account and transaction management. So what are the transactions that the customer are going through this app. So we have the data management access also, and we do also have error handling and user feedback. So this will be learning in the next slide. So this is the user test case. So we have tested like this. So how much amount, if the customer wants to withdraw, they can just select and they can just submit. If not, from the above the other options like other amount, so he can just enter the other amount which he want to do, and he can just press submit. So this is the like UML diagram, the test case we have done. And this is the error handling that we have seen in the previous slide. Suppose if the customer wants to enter the more digits, like a PIN number, he want to keep like 10 digits or more than 6 digits. So we have entered a restriction that PIN can be contain only digits and not any alphabets or any other characters. So we have entered only PIN can contain only digits. And here the confirm PIN, it should contain the same PIN that we has entered above. So this is the error handling we have done. And if suppose this is also we have done like if the customer has in its account only $60, but he is attempting to take more than 60, so we can just tell the error message like not enough money in the account. So we have done this error handling in our web application, and the class diagram will be taken over by Shiva.
Thank you, Meghna. Well, as we can say, here this class diagram, as we can mention, there are different functionalities over here. For suppose, let's say the customer and the bank and the account and the ATM machine, everything has a different functionalities. As Min and Meghna told you from the earlier slides. So those are the functionalities that we have used in this web application. And Meghna, you can go to the next slide. So uh, so in the daily basis, so designing is the main concept where we can design and then we can implement the project. So these are the three design considerations that we have taken under. One is object oriented design and the separation concerns and file based storage. So object oriented design follows through an approach by defining account and transaction and data classes for managing the data. When it comes to separation of concerns, the project is structured into different classes, as I mentioned in the previous slide. Each is responsible for specific functionalities, such as managing accounts, transactions, user interface, and data persistence. File-based data storage is mainly focused on storing the data, nothing but like user details and bank transaction details and account details and input output mechanisms. And you can go to the next slide, Meghana. So here we can see the security integration. Security integration plays a major role while we are developing this application. We have faced a lot of issues while we are fixing the bugs. So these are the main security integrations we have taken under consideration, which is pin-based authentication, error handling for inputs, random pin card and generation, basic validation and input standardized sanitization, encryption and data protection, and logging and monitoring. So these are all is explained earlier in this presentation, where the pin-based authentication is nothing but a two-factor authentication, where once we enter the pin number, then we will get a pin one time password where we can do the authentication, and error handling for inputs, as Meghna told earlier. So if anything happens which is not natural, like if you enter the pin more than 6 digits, the user interface will give you a heads up like you cannot enter more than 6 digits. And random pin and card generations won't be available in this application. It is like there is no static functionality that we have included, so everything is dynamic. Basic validation and input sanitization means, so while we are typing our first name or last name or email address, so the interface will check whether it is valid or not. And the encryption and data protection is comes under where the amount which we have in our account, which is safe or not. So you can go to the next slide, Meghna. So the testing test strategies, we have used a couple of testing strategies by taking an example of software development like life cycle, which is nothing but a usual project management thing, which are unit testing. Unit testing is usually individual components testing like account creation, transaction, and processing balances updates. Integration testing is nothing but a testing the integration between the modules such as account management, transaction handling, and data storage. Systems testing is end-to-end testing of the entire ATM system, including user interfaces, database and operations, transaction flows. And security testing is nothing but access the system security measure against potential threats like unauthorized access, data breaches, etc. Regression testing is to validate the recent changes or updates have not adversely affected previously working functionalities. Yeah, you can go to the next step. So the quality assurance is nothing but utilized Zero software for managing testing processes, test cases, sprints, and epics to enhance the efficiency and organization of software testing, like managing test cases, testing in sprints and epics, reporting and metrics, collaboration and communication. Yeah, and the next slide will be taken over from Mauli, and you can go ahead, Mauli.
So future improvements and enhancements. So MFA multi-factor authentication. So it is implemented to provide additional security like MFA to enhance user authentication and prevent unauthorized access. So transaction categorization. So transaction categorization enhance transaction details with like categories and real-time transaction notification. So this enables real-time SMS or email notification for users after each transaction to keep them updated on their account activities and international transactions. So some people use their like the ATM cards in like different countries. So for that purpose, like we use like international transactions feature and accessibility features, improve the user interface to comply with accessibility standards for users with disabilities. So conclusion. So in this project, we served as an excellent learning opportunity, offering insights into our software development, data handling, and user interactions within a simulator banking environment. So concepts like classes, file input and output, error handling, and user authentication were effectively utilized and understood. Several challenges were encountered during development, including managing data consistency, implementing security measures, and designing the user interface. So, overall, the project underscores the importance of security, user experience, and functionality in such critical applications. So, thank you, and we will do our best in the like the rest of the sprints that we have. Thank you.